Today I'm talking about my brand new thriller series called The Flanigan Files. Each novel will be told from the mindset of both the antagonist as well as the protagonist. So rather than focusing my attention on one main character, which is usually the protagonist, the good guy, I've actually chosen to write this series from the minds of the damaged minds, from those people who we don't always understand, serial killers, murderers, people who are for whatever reason struggling both internally and externally with life in general. The first novel is called Beyond the Veil and it is out now, so available in both hardback and paperback and also ebook directly from Amazon as well. The novel itself is a tale of a serial killer who believes he has existed throughout history. So he suffers with a mental condition, diagnosed wrongly with paranoid schizophrenia initially. The main character, Newton Flanigan, begins to suspect he is actually suffering from a condition called DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. Used to be called multiple personality or split personality several years ago. The main character, David Mallory, tells his side of the story directly from his mind. So I write first person, and the whole premise of the series is to actually show that if someone's a killer, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are evil through and through. Each of us have got a good side and a bad side. Each and every one of us is capable of extreme acts of self-sabotage, violence, and self-destruction. In an industry that is overcrowded and so completely filled with same retold stories over and over and over, I wanted to start telling stories from a different perspective. So the concept of the Flanigan Files almost came about from wanting to develop a series that actually looks at the whys instead of the who. So I'm trying to pioneer the why done it instead of the who done it, which obviously is typical crime thriller genre. My books are very dark, they're very emotional, they are very sometimes quite sinister, so almost border the horror genre, as well as psychological thrillers. So they aren't for everyone. But those readers who absolutely love to challenge themselves in terms of who they want to root for in the novel, the Flanigan Files hopefully is set to become a series that will tell lots of different stories of different people in different situations and walks of life. So far I've got around 24 different novels planned for the series, and I'm always thinking of new ideas every day. So my to-do list is constantly growing. For instance, the Beyond the Veil, it came about literally just from an idea of someone who I'd heard of who was suffering with DID. They'd been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. They were hearing the voices. They were seeing lots of different things that they know couldn't have existed. And my fascination grew from wanting to actually help people understand the damaged and people who have issues with their own problems, health problems on a day-to-day basis. So book 2 in the series is called The Lost Raven, and that will be coming out in September, so I'm very excited for that. The Lost Raven tells the story from a female perspective. The main character in that novel is very damaged. She's been through quite a lot of abuse in her life, and she chooses to take matters into her own hands, which it has very extreme detrimental effects on herself and quite a few people around her, including the main character Newton Flanigan, who is obviously the one character that the whole series follows. So he's a clinical psychologist, and his job is to deal with these people in every single novel. At the end of every novel, he actually writes a thesis to explain his findings and his views on the characters that he's dealt with, hence the title, The Flanigan Files. So that's something that I'm very excited to be able to include as well. Each Flanigan Files novel starts with a chapter told from the mindset of the antagonist. So from early on, we get to see their actions, their thought processes. The reader knows who the killer is literally from the first page. The type of novel that you have to read all the way to the end to find out who did it. From page one, you already know who did it, so it's more why did they do the shit they did, basically, throughout the book. Along the way, there are a lot of twists and turns, as you would expect in any thriller, and the ends, I'm hoping I always end them on a real high for the reader, so they're left wanting more. There's never going to be any cliffhangers in my novels. With the main character, you might find what's something that happened in one novel continues into the next one, which is why it's obviously an ongoing series. And the main character will always have his own mini plot lines happening as well. So Newton will be going through a lot of his own private hell, a lot of things that each novel will uncover of Newton's life, his past, his traumas, where he wants to go, his family, his friends. So yeah, it's very exciting. So watch this space, guys.